I get asked a surprisingly large number of times, what are the pros and cons of being a real estate lawyer? And there's a lot of pros. I'm looking at my list. There's not a lot of cons, so I'll tell you about those today. I'm Tiffany Weber, and I'm a real estate attorney in the Lake Norman area of North Carolina, where I've done, at this point, thousands of real estate closings. So I've had a little bit of time to figure out what I like and don't like about real estate law. Now, I did not start my practice in real estate law. I started in litigation, in civil litigation, but I do have a background in litigation, so I do have something to compare real estate law to know why I like it better than doing litigation. One of my pros is that it's generally a happy practice. So whereas in litigation, all of my clients were incredibly somber all the time because you don't hire a litigator because things are going well. In real estate, it was a celebration every time. Another one of the pros is that you meet lots of people. The type of litigation practice that I was in, we were focused on a very specific type of case, and cases would take years. So I would be working with the same clients for 3.5, 4 years. There are some cases that I worked on when I started in litigation that I know that my former boss is still working on today. So your cases could take years, but in real estate, I meet lots of people every day, new people, which is really fun because if you are a people person and you like hearing other people's stories, it's awesome to get to interact with new people every day. And another good thing about that is that it really gets you plugged into your community because you meet a lot of community leaders or teachers and firefighters and people that own businesses in the community. A funny example of that is that recently I had a client in a closing and he was dressed in the typical football coach uniform. I recognize it because my husband was an offensive coordinator at a high school for a while, and high school football coaches just have a look. So I said, you got to be a coach. Where do you coach? And he told me, and I said, well, my husband is looking forward to being able to volunteer coach again someday. And this guy said, oh, really? We're kind of looking for someone to come help out. And that is the long story short of how my husband became a volunteer coach at Lake Norman High School this season. With our practice being lucky to be very busy, one good thing is that I stay busy and I do not get bored. There's not a whole lot of downtime, which I tend to like because I don't like to spin my wheels or be waiting for the next client. I love being able to stay busy all day. But I guess a con of that would be if you don't like repetitive work, this could potentially get repetitive for you. Because real estate closings, while every closing is unique, they do have a lot of the same things that have to be done in every single closing. It's not like a whole new set of paperwork every time. There might be some new things here and there, but the paperwork can get repetitive if that is something where you need a brand new problem every single day to solve. And it's got to be a big, huge problem that's going to take you weeks to figure out. Real estate law may not be for you, but on the other side of that, I do get to solve lots of problems every day, and they're always different problems. So while my cases don't take years anymore, I do have lots of little problems that I can help people solve, and that's very gratifying. Depending on who you ask, I'm not sure if this is a pro or a con. For me now, this is a pro, but some people might think it's a con. Not going to the courtroom in real estate law. If you are a real estate closing attorney, there are not a lot of opportunities to go to the courtroom unless you're also having a litigation practice on the side, which would be tough to manage if you have a lot of closings on your schedule. For example, I look at my calendar and we're lucky that it's filled up all week. I would not have an easy time responding to a call from a judge that we have a hearing that afternoon because I've got closings scheduled all afternoon. So it would be a great inconvenience to my real estate clients if I had to run off and go to court. So I do not spend any time in the courtroom these days. So if you're someone that knows that you want to be in court all the time, being a real estate closing attorney is not the way to do that, at least not in North Carolina. Another con for me for practicing real estate law, which isn't a huge con, but it's worth mentioning, is that real estate law, while I'm still definitely practicing law, solving problems, researching law, having to stay up to date on cases and statutes, it is less scholarly. And what I mean by that is I don't write nearly as much as I used to. I used to spend 80+% of my time in the law writing. So that would be, briefs, memos, all kinds of stuff just to be able to explain the law to other parties or submit to the judge to try to persuade a judge to rule in our client's favor. I don't really have to do that anymore. So there are occasionally where there are situations where I have to write a demand letter or something, but it's not nearly as intense as what you would do in litigation. So if you really like to write, you probably won't get as many opportunities to do that in real estate law. Last two are pros, and then I'm done. Another pro to practicing real estate law is that generally we have a flat fee structure. And I love that because it promotes efficiency, which is good for me and good for my clients. I didn't love the billable hour because even though it's not ethical to drag out work just so you can bill more, it's certainly way more efficient to know, okay, we're doing this service and this is what it's going to cost the client and this is what I'm going to get paid for it. So it certainly promotes getting that work done well in a quick amount of time for the client so that you deliver the services faster, but also just to be more efficient. So I like that things are generally flat fee in real estate. Not everything is, but most things are, and I think that is good for clients and good for attorneys. And the last pro I have about practicing real estate law is that if you are at all interested in investing in real estate, then being a real estate attorney creates lots of opportunities for that because you know how to solve problems. And lots of times there will be properties that sit on the market because there's some tiny issue that some people might be afraid of tackling because they don't want to have to hire an attorney to get it sorted out, or they don't really want to have to figure it out. But, as a real estate attorney, you might look at that property and say, oh, all we have to do is get this easement and it's not going to be very difficult to do and the other party would benefit from it as well. So you're more willing to take on properties that other people might shy away from. So it creates a lot of opportunities for you to invest in real estate if you are interested in that. So as if it wasn't incredibly obvious from everything I've said already, I love being a real estate lawyer. It's very fulfilling. I have a lot of fun. I meet lots of great people, and I do work that interests me and keeps me busy and on my toes. And I know a lot of people that are in law school or thinking about law school and don't know, what type of law they want to practice. If you are interested in real estate law and you have questions for me, please comment below. As soon as I have time, I'll get in there and answer your questions because I love sharing with people how real estate law has been a great career for me and how much I enjoy it and what I like about it versus the other type of law that I practice. So if you're between, multiple kinds of law or you just want to know more about what it's like to be a real estate lawyer, let me know, ask your questions, and we will talk soon.